Hello, good morning and welcome. I'm well and truly in Costa Rica. I'm in the airport here in San Jose. So if I hear another plane about to take off, I'll be sure to switch the camera around. But the sun is rising behind the mountain there. It's quite impressive. So I'm just going to go back around to that view for a moment, just because I need to sort out the settings on this, because I realise I'm dropping a lot of frames. So just give me 1 sec. Just 1 second. Okay. Right. Hello. Hello. Whoa, there comes the sun. Oh, that is very cool. That is very, very cool indeed. I'm sorry that we're dropping frames. We're still dropping frames. That's no good. Hopefully that'll stabilise as the sun comes up and powers the internet, I guess. It does look lovely, doesn't it? We just missed the plane just before I started streaming. I was like, if I just press start broadcast at that moment, we would have seen it. There you go. There's the sun coming out over the mountain there. That is very cool. Show you out here. There's our planes. There's the mountains out there. It's a beautiful part of the world. Don't know why they had to go and ruin it all by building an airport. I just realised I set up here and the sun is going to be mad in my eyes now. But that's okay. The Durham looks different, says Yuri. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? It looks a bit odd compared with what we're used to. Hi everyone, just about to watch PMQs, but this is better. Oh, it's PMQs? Oh, sorry, I forgot. I forgot it's Wednesday, isn't it? You mean lose track when you're travelling, or it's Christmas? I could go over. I'm not really plumbed in for. Let's see if I can. No, I don't know where my headphones are. There's also saying big yellow thing in the sky here too. What? No way. Oh! Here comes a plane. I think. Oh, it's taken off. It's a little light plane. Hang on. There it is. Up in the sky. You can see it. It's really small. Okay, back to me. Okay, so somewhat appropriately today, I thought I'd talk about... Hello. Let's get this stupid microphone gimbal to work. Camera gimbal, even. What I want to talk to you about today is about the expats, is about the immigrants from the UK who are currently trapped in the Middle East. And I want to have a good chat about this because just in time for PMQs. Yeah, damn. Completely forgot about PMQs. Maybe who wants to go? Does anyone want to go to PMQs? I don't know if the broadband will take it, to be honest with you. I'm already dropping frames like a nutter over here. Radioactive ball of plasma is bright here too, says Vendetta. Oh, that's good. Just as I leave, the weather picks up. Horrible and grey in Northampton. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Alex. That sounds pretty sucky. So I wanted to talk today about my experiences of getting into scrapes abroad and how the British Embassy really went out of its way to help me out on more than one occasion. And generally speaking, the embassies around the world that we have, they cost us a fortune because we've got to be there for any Brits that get into trouble while they're away. And so there are some places where not too many Brits go on holiday, I guess. But then there's other places like Dubai where the society is very different over there. The cultural norms are very different as well, and it means that a lot of British people get into trouble over there one way or another. I keep mentioning the fact that they don't have a bankruptcy law over there. I'm just going to move my camera just over a little bit. Sorry if this messes things up for everyone. It's just casting a shadow on me and annoying me. That's better. Whoop. I'm kind of a bit worried that there's recorded music playing in the background here, and I'm a bit worried that we might end up getting demonetised. Hopefully that doesn't happen. In fact, let's set a goal. Let's set a goal for the first, I don't know, Oh my God, this is really cool. So my currency is now coming up in Costa Rican colons. This is cool. I wonder if I brought my confetti. I hope I brought my confetti with me on the road. So I've started that goal now. Snow in the south. So what we'll do, since PMQs is on right now, I normally do a show now, don't I, for PMQs? Completely forgot. Sorry about that. I'll the Guardian website usually does a good little thing about PMQs live. If I can access that, there you go. First PMQ since the US attack on Iran. Okay, so Starmer begins PMQs by telling the Commons that his thoughts are with Sarah Everard on this very painful anniversary of her death. He says the government is working hard to prevent boys and men from becoming abusers. And Labour's Josh Fenton Glynn from Calder Valley is now asking the Prime Minister if the new growth and skills levy will support manufacturing jobs. So I guess him and Badenoch are kicking off now. So I might drop back into that as we go on. I just want to say hello to everyone in the chat. We've got Chief Inspector of Police Federation arrested on corruption charges. Wow. Somehow not surprising, but also, surprising. Sod PMQs, tell us about where you are. Well, I'm in San Jose, the capital of Costa Rica. Just had a very Costa Rican breakfast consisting of rice and beans, because you've got to have rice and beans, some scrambled egg, some pastry things, empanadas, I think, and yeah, they got like I'm in the VIP area. Through a bank card that I have, gives me access to places like this. I only use them like once or twice a year, so when I do have to use them, it's quite good. But this place didn't open till like 4:30, and so my plane got in at midnight, so for 4 hours I basically had to find somewhere to sleep, which is quite okay here in SJO. I've stayed the night here in SJO a few times now. They've got some really comfy couches and you can lie down on them. They're not like the metal chairs you get in like Heathrow or Manchester or whatever. You actually get you can get some good sleep. Put your arm through the loop of your backpack and scrunch up your coat to make a pillow. Jobs are good. I came here to avoid PMQs, says Sid. Should Barron Draft get drafted, says North Wales, yes. Well, this is kind of like going to the heart of what I really wanted to talk about today. Just so you know, in PMQs, Starmer is saying he's not prepared to join a war without a lawful basis or a visible plan. And do you know what? He's completely right. He is completely right on this, and I know he's going to get lambasted by everyone in the right-wing press, and Nigel Farage is going to go on about, we're going to war, and yeah, great, sovereignty, mate. Talk about sovereignty. I'm not following America on another daft military adventure that's going to end in absolute tragedy and carnage, which is, I'm saying to the end. We're already there, thousands of people have already died, hundreds of them children, and for nothing. It's not going to change anything, I don't think. If anything, it's going to make Iran more of a pariah in the area and kick things off with terrorist attacks going on between Iran and in other countries around Iran, Lebanon and Syria and Jordan and Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman's been dragged into this. The UAE, all those countries. There's rockets hitting bloody Cyprus, for Christ's sake. It's really not. It's really not. Particularly a great time, and Wayne's saying Starmer's a letdown. It's like having a prefect in charge. It is, except, like I keep saying this, I would not want his job right now. I would not want that job. Would you want his job right now? With all of the conflicting things that are going on, half the country wants to go to war with bloody Donald Trump, and half of them are like, what is actually happening right now? So yeah, wow, the sun is bright. That sun is bright in my eyes. So yeah, when Costa Rica is mentioned, Costa Rica is the Switzerland of of Central America. It's the one country where the they've had like pretty much peace all this time, but recently they've elected a right-wing government here. Yeah, not great by any stretch of the imagination. So let's talk about this the tax avoiding people in Dubai, and like whether we should really be helping them out. Okay, so here's my experience. The first time I really needed consular help, was when I was arrested in Cape Verde. I turned up on a leaky wooden boat with 10 Senegalese fishermen, and they thought that I was a people smuggler travelling with my cargo for some bizarre reason. A message that had been sent announcing that I was coming was mistranslated and came across as a tip-off. It was all a bit of a disaster from top to bottom, left to right. Nobody's fault, really. It was just a combination of, and not even the fault of the authorities in Cape Verde. I could see why they thought that I was going to be problematic. And another thing, it was like a comedy of errors. The embassy didn't know I had been taken over there. Because in the news reports, in the local news reports, it said I was Irish. Because on my passport, obviously, it says United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. And I think what a lot of people do when they see a foreign passport, they just look at the last word. Because a lot of countries have these grandiose titles ahead of their actual name. The United Kingdom of Great Britain, the People's Republic of China, the Democratic Republic of Congo. They just look at the last word and go, okay, that's the country they're from. And so the last word in my passport is Ireland, so they thought that I was Irish. So the British Embassy weren't alerted, didn't pay attention, and it was only 5 days in that a police officer felt sorry for me and actually handed me his phone and let me make a phone call. I tried to call home, but there was no answer. So then I sent a text message to my brother, who thankfully I could remember his phone number, because he kept the same phone number since the 90s, so luckily I can remember it. Anyway, as soon as my brother was contacted and he let the authorities know, the embassy were pretty quick to send someone around to make sure I was okay in the prison cell, and then help me basically get out of the situation I was in, which they did the next day. So for me, that was really, I saw what the embassy was capable of. So then lightning struck again when I was in Congo a few months later. I got arrested. This time I hadn't really done anything. I mean, I was in a bad mood and been a bit grouchy, but I don't think that's against the law. And I was held in this police cell down in the basement of this big old empty police station that didn't even have anyone in on the Sunday. And it was pretty grim. I mean, they took my shirt and my glasses and my hat, and they took my belt. They took my shoelaces out my shoes. Oh no, they took my shoes. They left me barefoot. And I didn't have any malaria pills. I was supposed to take my malaria pills every day. They got taken away. So it was all a bit, not great, not the best. But I learnt from my experience in Cape Verde, and I made sure that I had 2 phones. I had like 2 little shitty Nokia phones, and so when the police arrested me, I gave them 1 phone, and then I had another phone in my pocket. So as soon as I could, as soon as the police weren't looking, I texted the number that I had. This is before smartphones, mate. So this is like 2009. I know smartphones are out, but they were very new and no one had them. I had a number that I could text, and it would send it to my Twitter account. So I put help been arrested in Kinshasa, in Brazzaville. Get the embassy. And to be fair, the embassy sent someone around the next day. The police wouldn't let them come in. The police wouldn't let them speak to me. And it was only a few days later that the honorary consul managed to come in and talk to the chief of police there. But as soon as they sprung me from jail, the representative from the British Embassy came over, because they were based in Kinshasa, over the River Congo, and Brazzaville's on the other side, it's on the north side, they sent someone over, and she travelled with me across the border, and obviously everything was a diplomatic bag and all that kind of stuff, so I managed to just go, sail through customs and immigration and everything into there. into Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo, sorry. Not to be confused with the Republic of Congo, which is where I was put in jail. So then, and the embassy there helped me out. They helped me with getting a visa for Angola, because my Angolan visa had run out because I was stuck in jail, and the visa was only valid for like a couple of months. So all these things, right? And then on the road, I'd often get help from the embassy, or people would to get me to go to the embassy and stuff like that. This was back when you could just go into. I went to the embassy in Pretoria. It was actually a British High Commission. If it's a Commonwealth country, you often have high commissions rather than embassies. It's just a change in the nomenclature. But I went to the High Commission and got a new passport. And this is in the days when literally I applied for a new passport on the Friday and it was ready for the Monday. Nowadays you can't do that. Because reasons. I've said it for years, we need a leader like Brian Clough, Sir Alex, Mick Lynch or John Prescott. I think any of them would get mugged off by Twunt. Well, I mean, Mick Lynch got mugged off by Nigel Farage, didn't he? Because he thinks that Nigel Farage has got the right idea when it comes to our relationship with our closest trading partners in Europe. So, I don't know. Says Captain. So numerous times I was invited to the embassies around the world, the British embassies. I watched the British election of 2010 actually with the British ambassador in Kuwait, who was very, very posh. They're all privately educated, all these ambassadors, I tell you. And I kept on asking him where the Ferrero Rocher was. They had a quiz night, and he wanted me on his team, so we'll blitz it, and we did. Vendetta, yeah. I think the embassies, as far as I'm concerned, I owe them. I owe the fact that Britain has, when I've been in trouble, has gone out of its way to help me out, as it should do. I'm a British citizen, but at the same time I think, okay, fair enough, well then I should pay tax, and when I earn money, when people throw super chats in because they want to watch the nice confetti animation, I should pay tax on that. I think that's only fair. But there's a lot of people who live in Dubai who make a big thing about the fact that they've left this country because they don't want to pay tax. Sorry, not this country, not Costa Rica. They've left the UK because they don't want to pay tax. Just give me 1 second, I've got to blow my nose. Sexy, I know. I'll give you the title sequence again, hang on. Okay, cool. Right, I'm back. Back and all blown. I've been blown. No, I've blown my nose. I got a cold. I got a cold on when I went down to London. When you feel it in your throat, and you think, oh God, I'm getting a cold, and my nose just keeps running. Can someone call in James O'Brien on Thursday, tomorrow, right, for Mystery Hour, right? Can someone ask, right? Here's a question I've got. Why does your nose not run when you're asleep? And you're awake, if you got a cold, you're constantly blowing your nose, right? But then you go to sleep. It's not like you wake up with like snot all over your face. Can someone call in and ask that on my behalf? Because I won't be able to. Or maybe I will. Maybe I'll call up from my island. Don't tax our confetti, says Sid. Yeah. Wayne, you got a day off. Where's the milk going to come from? I know, yeah. Who's gonna deliver the lovely milky? So that's sort of the background of my relationship with embassies, and I understand how important consular help is. They exist, embassies and consulates exist primarily. This is the original conceit, the original plan. They're not necessarily there to just issue visas for people who want to come to the UK. That wasn't the original idea. It was to assist citizens in emergencies abroad, British citizens when they were abroad. But they're not there to act as rescue services for every travel problem. But core consular services include emergency travel documents in case you lose your passport and you need to get out of the country, contacting family members, helping citizens who have been arrested or hospitalised, coordinating assistance during crises such as wars, civil unrest, disasters, riots, all that kind of stuff, right? I can't really talk about some context that I have, because obviously there's a whole diplomatic thing about it, I think, but so I can't say anyone in particular, but I do know a number of people who are who work for embassies around the world, work for British embassies in different functions, and if you are a lawyer for a British embassy, then you will often be spending time representing British citizens, or at least going in, finding out what's happening when British citizens have got in trouble with the law. And that is a free service. It's not like at the end of it you get a bill like going to hospital in America. It's free. It's a free service that they provide because they don't want Britons getting into mischief around the world. And the embassies cannot override local law. They cannot pay their travellers' debts. They cannot provide free flights home. Really, I mean, sometimes they do in exceptional circumstances, but it's supposed to be, their role is supposed to be guidance, documentation, and coordination with authorities. And obviously, during a major crisis, these embassies become coordination hubs, gathering information about citizens in the region and relaying that to the Foreign Office. How many Brits are in Dubai right now? We need to know. And often citizens are encouraged to register the location with the Foreign Office, so the government knows who may need assistance during emergencies. And evacuations organised by governments, including ours, are very logistically complex and fucking expensive. Do you know what I mean? This is the big thing about this, right? It is so expensive to run these embassies. Don't forget, there's 192 other members of the UN apart from us. And I know we don't have embassies in every country, and we sometimes share facilities. For instance, our presence in the Republic of Congo, we have an honorary consul who is actually from France, or so that it's not quite the same as having an embassy there, but still, it is a big cost to the taxpayer to have these things set up around the world. And so now we have the crisis spreading across the Gulf. You've got the United States and Israeli attacks on Iran have triggered this retaliation across the Middle East. You've got influencers filming themselves, seeing rockets landing in Dubai, and obviously they want to get the hell out of there, which is understandable. Airspace closures have disrupted commercial aviation, and it's hard for people to get out. Maybe this is where I should step in and say, hey, why don't you go overland? I'll show the way. Maybe I should go over and help them all out. Follow me, everyone. Pay me well for this service. But missile drone attacks have been reported in the UAE, in Bahrain, in Qatar, in Oman, which I've mentioned, in Kuwait, Lebanon. People need to get out of Beirut even. And the scale of the British presence in the region is insane. There's an estimated 300,000 Brits either living or travelling through the Middle East at any given time. Miss Paula Thomas, thank you so much for the super chat. That is very, very kind of you. Mucus runs out of a nose because of a combination of gravity and fluid dynamics. If you lie down, gravity is not operating in the same way. Ooh, okay. That's interesting. So the best thing you can do if you've got a runny nose is to lie down. Intriguing. Okay, well now I know. I don't have to call in. But also, because I set the confetti thing quite low today. It was just one super chat would trigger the confetti. So let's go for it. Let's trigger the confetti. Thank you, Miss Paula Thomas. Very, very kind of. Oh my gosh, Yorosh there with a mega chat, an actual mega 50 euros. Thank you so much, Yorosh. That is very, very, very kind of you. I believe that most people don't have a problem with paying taxes. The problem is they don't go where and they don't go to where and to whom we would like. That is true, but you can't control everything. I have a dear friend who, for a long time, thought that people who don't have kids should pay less tax because you're not paying for some kid to go to school, right? Until she had a kid, and then she was like, "Oh no, that's fair enough." And I don't mind. You know, if I want to sell me books, if I want to get people to watch my show here, I need them to be, you know, I need them to be able to read. I need to be able to understand the world, what's going on in the world. I need schools. Or I'd have no audience. But yeah, Yovash, I'm going to trigger the confetti cannon again because obviously that is a huge contribution to the channel. Thank you so much, Yovash. You're an absolute legend. So have some more confetti. I realise it's quite hard to see the word confetti with this very bright background. I'm trying to fill up the screen with me with a stupid face. So yeah, 7 degrees of separation, at some point you benefit. Yeah, absolutely, Sean. And I think this is something where we can really talk about, you know, why we have tax, why we have this social contract, why we say, right, we will give up certain rights to the Leviathan in order to look after us, you know, in order to not have to live in fear of being, you know, attacked, soldiers coming from another country, bombs landing on our heads, you know, fear of getting ill or losing our jobs and losing our homes and ending up on the streets. You know, that's what a government is there for. That's why we have this system set up the way we do. I don't have time to be making decisions about, you know, what's going on in the local planning commission in, you know, Dorset or something. That's nothing to do with me. If someone else wants to do that on my behalf, I'm very, very happy for them to do that job on my behalf. And I give up some of the rights that I have in making my decisions in life in order to, you know, facilitate that happening. Just missed a plane taking off, but I don't think you would have seen much anyway because it's so bright. Do you want to see the sun again? Let's go see the sun again. Oh, that way, Graham. Woo. Go the right way. There you go. Look at that. Look at that sun up there. It's weird. It's like a dot now. It's like a dot in the middle of the camera. It's probably wrecking the camera. Probably come back. Come back to me. Come back to me, my pretty. There you go. Okay, so yeah. I'm over one side. Come on. Get in the middle. There you go. Focus. Thanks, Diz. Considering I had 10 years of mental health and burnout, I think 16,000 under a year isn't bad going. That is amazing. Gallifrey, man, wow. 60,000 words is really, really good. It's really impressive. Keep going. We should make citizenship dependent on paying taxes. Well, this is it. This is the discussion that we need to have. We can't really do that, can we? And we can't take someone's passport off them unless they've got a passport for another country. But I do find it interesting that the same people who didn't want Shamima Begum to come back to the UK when she's a British citizen, she was born in Britain, and they're saying no, she shouldn't come back here and stand trial. I'm like, why not? She was groomed, she was a child, she was a minor, and taken in by a cult of lunatics, and you know, the things that happened to her are really, really quite horrific. What's that bright thing he keeps showing off, says Lee? I don't know, but it's warm. But yeah, it is infuriating. You know, like you look at Americans, not for too long because you know they're annoying, but they're going about their taxes all the time, and it's just this weird thing where I just feel like there's a lot of hypocrisy. So no taxation without representation. All right, so how come the people of Puerto Rico, how come the people of Guam, Northern Mariana Islands, the US Virgin Islands and American Samoa don't get to vote on who the president is? How come they don't have representatives in the Senate or in the House of Representatives? Oh, actually, no, they do. They just they don't get any votes. No taxation without representation. And then you've got foreigners, you know, who don't even live in America and aren't even American, who have representation in America. Mostly people who own these big companies that don't pay any tax in America at all, and they somehow have this sway over the American political system. So they have representation without taxation, and the people of Guam have taxation without representation. How does that work? So what do you do? What do you do? Well, here's what I would do, right? I would certainly think about having some kind of like tax put on people who aren't taxpayers in the UK. I don't think you could take the citizenship off them. You can't take the passport off them. That wouldn't be legal, and it would go all the way to the European Court of Human Rights and whatever. Although maybe that would be a good idea, because then they'll be like, oh no, we need to keep this thing in case the British government wants to take our passports off us. But I think what would be a good idea is if you're not registered to pay tax in the UK because you become a tax exile and you're living in another country, then you've got to pay for your evacuation. And you're going to be, your jaw's going to hit the ground when you find out how much it's going to be. And then when you get back to the country, if you have to use the NHS, you've got to pay the NHS surcharge, just like people who come here to work have to. And there's ways of doing this. We know who's paid tax, we know who hasn't. It's registered with the HMRC. And Britain doesn't have the same system in America. In America, you still have to pay tax no matter where you are in the world, no matter where you earn that money, if you're American. It's the reason why Boris Johnson renounced his American citizenship. Was essentially because of he didn't want to have to pay tax in America. Sunny and warm here as well, says Yorosh. That's good. Beautiful sunshine in South Shropshire today. Sabrina is flowing in the sunshine. Holy custard, there's a glowy hot thing in South Yorks as well. I'm glad that spring has finally sprung for a lot of us. Captain Bart Roberts has joined Lone Star. Hey, Captain Bart Roberts, thank you very much. Welcome. I know it says members, but just imagine it just says welcome new member, and that'd be cool. So yes, thank you, sir, thank you. It's a beautiful day on the sunny south coast of England, says Captain Bart Roberts. And if you leave the country, you shouldn't have to pay tax in the origin country when you pay taxes in another. Yes, but then you shouldn't get the services from your origin country, because who's paying for that? So I don't think the American system is the way forward, to be honest with you. But I also think that when people have made a point of going to Dubai and bragged about the fact that they're not paying income tax on social media, and then they expect our income tax in the UK to pay for them to leave, in the middle of a war zone, I think that's a bit rich. Sorry, blowing my nose online. It's not very sexy. Next time I'll show you the intro clip again. But yeah, there's certainly a lot of high-profile examples. There's former England cricketer Johnny Bairstow, who's publicly appealed for help after becoming stranded in Dubai with his family. He reported that commercial flights have been cancelled and communication with airlines is difficult. His situation reflects a wider problem affecting thousands of travellers who cannot leave due to grounded flights. Sporting tours and international events in the region have already been disrupted due to the crisis. England Lions tours matches scheduled in Abu Dhabi are cancelled, and travel disruption has also affected international cricket competitions and team logistics. Families with young children are amongst those seeking evacuation or assistance from the UK government. I just say, look, well, I got there without flying, but then again, the route of talk, oh my god, okay, so I came in from Iran to Kuwait on a ferry. I don't think that's an option right now. I then went over to Eritrea on a cargo ship, on a rusting hulk of a ship. Spent a couple of days in Eritrea, in Asmara on the coast. Then I came back to Saudi Arabia. Then I went up to Dubai, and I took a cargo ship from Dubai to Pakistan and India, and it went through the Strait of Hormuz. That's not a way you could go at the moment. But getting across Saudi is uncomfortable at best. Without flying, it means a long coach. They don't have any trains running across the country. They've got to burn the oil, you see. Although trains, you get diesel trains, Saudi, if that's what you want to do. But, instead of building a decent railway system in Saudi Arabia, they decided to build the line, the NEOM line. Yeah, they've sacked that off now, by the way, because it was a terrible idea. United Nations passports are fun to have. I've got an old one around here somewhere. That's very cool. But I met someone when I was crossing the border into Afghanistan who had a UN passport. They bought the Greyhound for US citizens in the Middle East. Lol. Oh, but did they? Oh, brilliant! God, put them on that. Yeah, Dubai to Riyadh. I've done that, and then Riyadh to Jeddah, and then up the coast to Aqaba in Jordan, and then over there to Dahab in Egypt, and then you can go from Dahab, go across the Sinai Peninsula, up to Port Said, up to Port Said, and then from there you can get a ferry over to Turkey. You can get it to Iskenderun in Turkey. There might be some other places you can get the ferry to from that port in the on the north coast of Egypt, and then once you're in Europe, it's pretty straightforward to get home. But yeah, it's not easy. The line, not the line. Well, it resulted in the deaths of people who were standing in its way. So at least people got to die. That's all we can say about that. I think that's what they're going to say about this war. Once it's over, these warmongers, these neocons, these Trump supporters are going, well, at least people got to die. But yeah, the current crisis is just really, really grim. And the fact that there's over 100,000 British citizens in the Gulf region who have registered with the UK Foreign Office during the crisis. You just think about how much money all this is costing the British government, and by the British government I mean us as taxpayers. So does it not stick in your craw that there are people who have left the country so they don't have to pay their fair share of tax? Pisses me off. And then you've got the fact that Dubai has become a major destination for British expats because British immigrants, due to the zero personal income tax, many British professionals relocate to increase their net earnings, and there's professionals, entrepreneurs, influencers, athletes, media personalities, the sports stars, television presenters, political commentators. Obviously, the leader, not the leader. Sorry, hang on, let me just put this on. Drop something on the floor. The deputy leader of the Refuck Party, Richard Tice, he lives in Dubai. So there's his girlfriend, Isabel Oakshit, both privately educated, of course. He loves this country so much he left. He lives somewhere where they have Sharia law, and they genuinely do have Sharia law. All the food you eat there is halal. All the call to prayer rings out at like 5 a.m. every morning. The future that they go on about not wanting for the UK, they're quite happy to live in it. It's weird not watching PMQs with Graham. I'm sorry about that, Sean. Graham talking a bit away from politics, though I agree on most of your views. What do you make of the Liverpool loss to Wolves 2-1 yesterday? Personally, I'm happy as a United fan. Well, I'm an Evertonian, so if we get to a point where Everton overtake Liverpool, it happened for like a week last year, but in the mid-table rankings, that'll be amazing. But Wolves have had such a bad season. They've only got about 13 points, haven't they, up to this point? They're well at the bottom of the league, and for them to beat Liverpool must be very satisfying for them. I'm glad they've got that, because they're totally getting relegated this year. But yeah, the fact that they beat one of the best teams out there. Liverpool, I don't know what the hell's been going on with Liverpool. They seem to be all over the shop at the moment. I'm going to have to blow my nose again, so unfortunately for you, you're going to have to go and have a look at the title sequence again. So 1 second. I love that's just the right length to blow your nose. That's good. Oh wow, Miss Paula Thomas, another super chat. Thank you. BBC reporting Iranian Navy boat shrunk off Sri Lanka. What the efforts are doing there? 140 missing. Thanks very much for that, Miss Paula Thomas. Yeah, I was reading about that this morning. It might have been doing some joint exercises in started in Sri Lanka. It might have been out in the Indian Ocean when all this started, and was like, where do we go? We can't, obviously, if it tried to go back to Iran, it would probably get blown up. I don't know enough about it. Thank you so much for the super chat though, which also triggers the confetti cannon again. So thank you very much for that. 3, 2, 1, confetti. Thanks very much for that, Paula. Watching with Graham is the only way. Yeah, it's the only way to keep your sanity. But unfortunately, I wasn't set up for that. It'd be quite fun to do a sort of PMQs from PMQs that Graham used from Costa Rica. So let's see what we've got from the PMQs. The main takeaway is Starmer saying he's not prepared to join this war, and he's been closely liaising with the US to pre-deploy radar systems, ground-based air defense, counter-drone systems, and F-35 jets. Fair enough. That's all defensive stuff rather than offensive. And Badenoch is attacking Rachel Reeves for giving more money to welfare rather than defence. The country is not going to be distracted by Labour MPs moaning. The fact of the matter is the war in Iran is happening now. They won't hit the 3% spend on defence for 5 years, accuses Starmer of a lack of urgency, which is a bit rich coming from the Tories, who famously took down our armed services to the lowest number of personnel since, I don't know, the English Civil fucking War. More than 1,000 Brits have arrived back in the UK on commercial flights from the UAE. Another 8 flights due to leave today. First charter is expected to leave Oman later today, as well as 2 more in the coming days. Family and friends are worried sick about people who are caught up in this, said Starmer. And Badenoch says she was asking about defence spending, blah, 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 blah. And she says then that the crisis goes beyond defence spending. Okay, make up your mind. It sounds like she had a bad again. She's not very good at it. Ed Davey says experts are warning that Trump's illegal war on Iran could cost each household in the UK £500 a year. And energy bills were supposed to be coming down in April by 150 quid, and now they probably won't. I don't know. Davey's second question was about Iran plotting several failed terrorist attacks in the UK, and now they'll be more desperate and dangerous than ever. And Starmer said he's working the government's working 24/7 to protect the country from terror threats. Sam Rushworth, the MP for Bishop Auckland, down the road from me in Durham, asked Starmer if he backs renewable energy as a way of ensuring food and energy security. And the Prime Minister said, the sprint to clean energy is the only way to get off the volatile international fossil fuels market, cut bills and deliver energy security. I was talking about that yesterday. I don't know if you hear me, because obviously we were having bad internet problems yesterday. Was the new Green given a proper welcome? Yeah, there's loads of pictures of her, going into Parliament and stuff. It's really cool. Hannah with a spanner. With an ageing population, rising healthcare costs mean the government actually needs more money to keep public services at the current level. Yep. It's a funny contrast hearing the hubbub of the airport while curled up under a duvet. So what else have we got? Dithering response over Iran, says Gareth Bacon. I don't think that's a dithering response. We said we're not get that's the opposite of a dithering response. Yeah. Gavin Robinson from the DUP said that getting close to 2.5% by 2027 is not enough. They want more money on defence to buy more American weapons. But talking of Ed Davey, he's gone out and criticised these tax exiles. Going back to the main story, living in Dubai. Yesterday in Parliament, he said that citizens living abroad without paying UK taxes should still contribute to the funding of British armed services. He accused them of being washed-up old footballers and tax exiles. Don't think he's wrong. His supporters argue that his comments highlighted the issues about fairness and taxation in public protection. I think that we should be saying, listen, mate, you haven't paid tax in the UK for the last 5 years or something. So yeah, you're gonna have to pay for all of this. You're gonna have to pay for your repatriation flight. Yeah, it's gonna cost £100,000, mate. That's just how much it costs. I'm not paying that. I'm not paying that. I don't want to pay that. Yeah, I do think that a lot of expatriates continue earning income over there through international businesses while benefiting from having to pay zero income tax. And don't forget, the way things are in Dubai. Oh, the plane's taken off. Whoa, it's quite a big one. Hang on. Come on. Why are you so slow? Oh, can't see it. Oh, you can just see it in the bottom corner. Damn it. It was too slow. Look at that blue sky. Peeps. Wow. Sorry, that was my fault. I'm sure I did a gig in Bishop Auckland in the late 80s, early 90s. Very strange place. It is a bit Durham. But yeah, I think that if you are going to claim the benefits, if you're going to benefit from the benefits of UK citizenship, then you shouldn't be able to avoid contributing to the UK economy. It's as simple as that. And I think this is the point now where I think the government should act quite quickly to close these loopholes and say, if these things kick off because you're fucked off to a tax haven and we have to bring you back, you have to pay for it. It's as simple as that. Unless you've, been paying into the pot over here. And Dubai has long marketed itself as a stable and secure global city. It's heavily based on it's based its economy on finance, on tourism, luxury property, and international business. And many expats, many immigrants from the UK and stuff, they viewed it as insulated from the geopolitical instability of the region. But these attacks from Iran have just blown that perception out of the water. Like that has shattered that concept that this is a safe place where we're shielded from the other shit that's going on in the Middle East right now. Don't forget, that's not very far from Syria, where they've had a civil war that raged for 10 years. It's not very far from Bahrain, when the Arab Spring sprung up and the Saudis sent tanks over the causeway to Bahrain to put down the people rising up against their own government. What it had to do with Saudi Arabia is anyone's business. I don't know. Well, I don't know what it had to do with it. Also, Dubai is not very far at all from Yemen, which has recently, in the recent years, been bombed into the bloody shit by Saudi Arabia. So all these bombs, and not to mention Israel and Gaza and the West Bank, Palestine, all this regional instability, all these wars kicking off around you, and thinking, it's fine, even though the country over the water there is Iran, and they're funding proxy wars in Syria and Lebanon and Palestine and Yemen. I mean, yeah, I think there's a bit of naivety. there. 3 million a pop to shoot a 40k drone at the sky. Yep. They're building more of these bloody useless islands there. I got a story in my feed. When I was in Dubai, I sailed around the world. Do you remember the world? That was a bunch of islands that they made, in artificial islands, and they were shit. Just one moment, I've got to blow my nose again. Oh, sorry. Couldn't help that. I was trying to get to the travel brew thing. Hang on 1 second. Oh my god. Pop my ears then. USA generals are too. Is everyone at the airport enjoying the confetti? Yeah, I think so. I'm kind of in the corner. Everyone's giving me a bit of a wide berth, I think, because obviously I'm yakking into a camera and I've got a microphone in front of me. So I think they're like, oh my god, we'll leave them to it. We'll leave the crazy person to it, the crazy ginger person. Whose internet you stealing? Are we stealing Wayne's internet? Oh shit, we dropped some frames there. Sorry about dropping the frames. I hope the audio is still alright then. This situation has obviously raised broader questions about what obligations governments have to their citizens during, who are living abroad, who are not contributing towards the homeland anymore. And British citizenship does include the right to consular protection, but does not guarantee evacuation in every crisis. And one of the things that you're supposed to have when you travel out the country is travel insurance, which is supposed to cover you in case you break your leg going up a mountain and you have to be airlifted out of there, or you sprain your ankle in America and you have to go into a hospital and you come out with a bill for $100,000 because that's the way it works in America, strangely. Do you know what? I just thought of? If I just, I don't know, I go the wrong way. If I just put this over here like that. Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry. I'm back. I was blowing my nose. I didn't want to run the title sequence again. Oh, I think when I get to the island, I'm just going to chill out for a little bit. Just going to totally chill. Just sit on the boat dock, and just blow my nose a lot. Reporting from the US saying military are encouraged to look at action against Iran as a Christian one. I mean, the tensions between Iran and the rest of the Central Asia, Middle East bloc is not. It's not really to do with Christians too much. Well, maybe you could argue in Lebanon it is, but nowhere else. But yeah, I thought that was interesting that came up in Prime Minister's questions that the leader of the opposition, Kemi Badenoch, was saying you're not giving enough money to defence, you're spending it on welfare instead. And you're like, yeah, but it's welfare for British citizens. And are we supposed to be defending American interests abroad, with our money? I do think we need to prioritise people in our country, thank you very much, and also prioritise anti-terror legislation and anti-terror enforcement to make sure that those things don't happen to us. I think that's got to take precedence over defending the bloody Yanks. When I see how effed up the rest of the world nations' relations are, I'm baffled at how Europe managed to come together after several centuries of war and rivalry. Yeah, Europe, we were just exhausted, I think. Just absolutely exhausted, and cooler heads prevailed after the war because they'd seen the horror of it. Don't forget, all the people in charge in World War II were the people in the trenches in World War I, pretty much. They'd grown up, they sort of cut their teeth as teenagers in this horrific war in France, and then came away from that saying never again, and then bloody 20 years later it happened again, but 20 years later they were in charge. They were the people who had fought in World War I. And I think that's why a lot of people who, after World War II finished, they came back and said, no, that is it. That is absolutely it. My dad went through this. I went through this. I'm not having my children go through this. And those children grew up to be boomers who seem to want this now. And that's incredibly infuriating. The greatest generation, unfortunately, have spawned this particular cohort, and not all boomers, but a lot of whom seem to want the world to burn. And we're seeing that the Middle East is on fire, but geopolitical risk is a risk anywhere in the world. I think that if you are living somewhere else, you should have insurance. I have travel insurance, in case anything happens to me. I'm not entirely going to be relying on you as a British taxpayer to sort me out if I get into trouble. But if the British embassy here in Costa Rica or in Panama help me out with something, then again, it's something that a service that is there for British citizens, fair enough. But I have to pay for it, I'm not getting out of jail, but if I need some travel documents, emergency passport, whatever, I have to pay for it. It's not free. So why aren't these expats on these evacuation flights having to pay for it? Just saying. But this crisis just sort of highlights that these places around the world that tout themselves as the future. The problem is so many of them have got one foot still in the past, and the past is nasty, brutish, and problematic, should we say, bit problematic life in the past. And so you've got a country like Dubai that has one foot in the future and one foot firmly in the past. Don't forget, Dubai is 95% immigrant. 95%, only 5% of the population in Dubai are actually Emirati. And the Emirati get a universal basic income. You know, they get about bloody $20,000 a year, I think, maybe more than that, off the government. There's so few of them. That's why they don't need to have the same sort of, tax setup as we have here. One of the problems USA is having, Doge sacked the staff that would have organised the repatriation. Oh, that's really interesting. I got engaged this week, didn't I? Carry on. Oh, well done. Congratulations. Confetti for you, my friend Wayne. That is fantastic news. Confetti! Yay! Yay! Thanks very much. That's great news. That's great news, Wayne. Really, really good news from our friend Wayne over there down in Basildon. It's really cool. Anyway, so we're coming up to 7 o'clock now, so I'm going to have to, 7 o'clock a.m. here, so I'm going to have to go because I have a plane to catch. So today I'm going to Panama City, meeting with my lawyer, and we're going to the immigration place over there, and I'm going to get my cedula, which is my residency pass for Panama, which means I can stay in Panama for as long as I like for the next 10 years. And then I'll be heading over to the island, to the Ginger Island. This is kind of weird now because a lot of the stuff that's happening in the Middle East, it affects me. Well, it doesn't affect me. It's very much in my wheelhouse. This kind of thing, this international politics, when things go wrong for people in other countries. The places that are being attacked, I've been to them all. That way, I've been to Iran. My heart is with the people in Iran who are having to put up with this shit. They've had a terrible government for 47 years, and now this is happening to them, and it's not their fault. It's the people in charge. You learn very quickly when you hit the road. You can't judge people by the actions of their governments. It's a very bad call to do that. So. I wouldn't want people judging me by the actions of the Tory government, especially under Liz Truss or Boris Johnson. That'd be awful. So and then there's the fact that I'm out here travelling. I am, at the mercy of whatever things happen locally here, whether that's a disaster or whether civil unrest or whatever. And it is good to know that we have embassies and we have staff here. We have we have representatives, ambassadors, lawyers who are working for British citizens all over the world. And my argument with this is I love the idea of just taking the passports off them, for saying, like, if you don't pay tax, you can't have the passport, but that's not practical. We can't do that. But what we can absolutely do, because we did this during COVID, we looked at how much people were paid in tax, and we gave them money based on how much they paid in tax, which was hilarious for me because I got money because I paid my fair share of tax in 2019, and all these people who have their own companies and pay dividends from their companies and only pay themselves whatever it was at the time, like the absolute minimum you can get away with paying no tax on your income, so it's like 11,800 a year. They were getting like £3,000 off the government, and for me that was loads of money. I was like, yay, £3,000 off the government. These people living in £2 million bloody pound mansions, and they were like, that's not gonna pay the mortgage. Thanks for the stream. Look after yourself, mate. Oh, thank you very much, Diz. That's very kind of you. A friend of mine, Kemi, an Iranian socialist, went back to Iran during the revolution. He helped topple the regime. Then he was summarily executed. Oh, fucking hell. Jesus Christ, Bart, I'm sorry to hear that. You're late, Martin. Graham is off soon. Martin just said that afternoon, or that's all right. Are you writing the vows, Wayne? You can't be sweaty in those. Don't be sweaty in those vows. What vows? Vows. Anyway, just want to say thank you so much for joining me on the show today here in Costa Rica at the airport here at SJO Airport in San Jose. Do you know the way to San Jose? They were talking about San Jose in America, but it's in a song. So later today I will be in Panama City. If I have a chance, I might just do a little travel brew from the road before I get on the flight to Bocas del Toro, which is only an hour from Panama City, so it should be a bloody good laugh. And then I'll be on the island, so maybe I'll do a show tonight, and maybe not. But if you would like me to, let me know, one way or another. But also, please, if you're not already subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. Not only will that allow you to join in the conversation in future episodes, but also if you hit the bell notification icon, it allows you to get a buzz in your pocket when I'm going to go live. Yes, the stream's going to be disrupted this week. It'll probably settle down next week to a set schedule again. But just for this week, please hit that bell and make sure you get a buzz in your pocket when I'm about to go live. I'll try and give you at least 15 minutes notice. But that's it for today. And until next time, I'll say thank you very much for watching. Hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye. We're going to look out the window. Whee! That beautiful blue sky. Look at that. Whoa! Look at that sun. The sun over the mountains. Lovely.